Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Rim Shots with Sean, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk for Eastlink Community TV. And with me, I have Dave Whitenect from Nomad Sky, the band, one of the bands that's playing Riverfest. Dave, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Sean. Nice to be here.
So, have you done Riverfest before? Is this your first one? What's your story?
My history with Riverfest is probably pushing 11 years now.
Nice.
And the first year we played was with my band called 460 Custom. The next couple times around we were called Epic, and this is our second time playing as Nomad Sky.
So, obviously, you were part of, I guess, the lineup or the outfit when they were in the other location.
Yes, I missed that spot.
Well, it's interesting because I never played there. Now I've heard some stuff about it, and I've known Jason forever. Tell us about the old location before we go into the new one.
I think everything about the old location kind of made it feel like, you were going to a festival. You were going to the hippie weekend, and it was just a rowdy party, and everybody knew it, and everybody was stoked for that kind of thing.
Um, and the festival. And so we had Jason and Johnathan on a previous episode, and they had talked about how Riverfest started and the origins of it, and basically how humble beginnings to bigger bands, and then kind of the pandemic hits and everything kind of upsets everything. And did you take part in the virtual event?
No, we didn't actually.
Which went well now, but now they're back and it's great. My first one was last year.
Nice.
I guess from if you were to explain Riverfest to somebody that hasn't been there before, what would you say, or how would you explain it?
If you are a music lover, or maybe even if not a music lover, if you just like having a good time and you want to go for 3 days and have a good time, this actually is the spot to be. I mean, you've got unlimited music all weekend, and you can't beat the atmosphere there.
So talk to me about your band. So this is, I guess, another band that's you said this will be number two for your band, but talk to us about who you guys are, who's in the band, genre of music.
Sure. So I'm Dave. Jeff Hawkins is the bass player, and Jeff and I have actually known each other since we were 6 years old. And we've been playing together for the last 6 or 7 years. We recently reconnected with a longtime buddy of mine, Mike Evans, as drummer. And Mike has done a lot around HRM as a studio drummer and plays in a number of bands. We're primarily a rock band. We write our own stuff. And I think since COVID kind of kicked our pants like it has for a lot of people, but we kind of realized that when we're playing, we just want to engage people a little bit differently than we have in the past. So we've actually added a few fun covers, to be able to connect on that familiar level.
So one of the things about Riverfest that I liked, I mean, there's something for everything. So my band played there. When we went, we're predominantly a cover band on that show, but we have some other stuff that we're doing as well. What I liked about the event, and this seems to be the theme, is that there's truly something for everybody. If you want to do karaoke, you can do karaoke. If you want to see cover band, you see cover band. You want to see metal band. Is that maybe something that appeals to you guys as being part of that lineup, that the audience is so broad and looking for so many different things?
Totally. I mean, at any given time, you could see somebody who, when the belly dancers go up, you might see a few people like run to the front of the stage because that's what their interest is.
Right.
But then immediately after that, the whole crowd might shift out because a rock band is coming up. It's just there is something for everybody.
And so I guess in terms of your band and what you guys have been up to now, everybody kind of had to, I guess, reignite or whatever. The theme of our show was basically, if you sat in your laurels during the downtime, when things open back up, you're going to be behind the eight ball. Were you guys active during that downtime?
Yeah, we were actually pretty active. We played our Friday night rehearsals actually didn't change right up until I think almost the full 2 year mark. And, we had a couple of health issues, not COVID related, but it's just something we had to sort through. But we stayed active right up through.
And did you guys take part in any of the live streaming that some other folks were doing, or were you just focusing on your writing and possibly, future recording?
Pretty much just recording and our own stuff. But I did partake in, I don't know if you heard this song that was produced by a bunch of us locals. I'm trying to remember the name, but Emmanuel Brewster
Okay.
and A Call for Submission put it together. And it was about COVID. Or no, sorry, it was about the mass shooting.
I heard about that. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, they reached out to me and asked if I'd do a vocal piece, and I was super happy to take part in that.
And you know what? There's a lot of cool stuff that took place and I said it before, I'll say it again. The live streaming thing, it wasn't ideal, but it was another way for people to get themselves out there.
Absolutely.
And the folks that did it, I think, were further ahead when everything opened back up.
Yeah. If we had have just kind of shut things down, even just, the old muscle memory from playing and singing, we would be behind the eight ball for sure.
And and there's something to be said for playing in front of any audience. Now, we do this on Barstools. We've done a lot of live things, and you don't know. You can see the little dot up there that says 47 people are watching, but you don't really know if they're watching, and you're kind of playing to a computer screen.
Right.
The whole live thing, and you guys got to be excited that that's back up and happening again.
Absolutely, we are. And I have some dates for our shows coming up. If I could
Please.
So on May 20th, which is coming up pretty soon, we're playing at an event called We Are Ready. And it's just to celebrate Canadians being Canadian, who enjoy freedom. And it's going to be held at Enter the Bunker in Debert at the old Diefenbaker bunker.
Very cool.
May 27th, we get asked to play Rock for Mental Health, which is always an awesome event. July 15th, we got Harvest Fest coming up. And July 22nd, we got Gutter Fest coming up. It'll be our first time playing there, so we're stoked about that. And then, of course, why we're all here, August 11th at Riverfest.
Riverfest. So, my viewers, they want to find more about your band. Where do they go?
You can always go to nomadsky.com. Or sorry, I said my own address wrong. nomadsky.ca. You can search for us on Facebook, just Nomad Sky. Or even just Google search us. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere everybody else is.
Super. Dave, thanks for doing this. And I'll point out Eastlink Community TV is a new thing for us, but we're very excited to be on here. We're going to reach an audience that's a little, I'm not going to, possibly broader, but I mean, it's going to give us in the spring a way to highlight folks like yourself that, that are out there doing it. So thanks a lot for doing this, my friend.
Thanks, Sean, for having me.
We'll be back after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Eastlink Community TV Rim Shots with Sean. I am Sean McKenna. I am here with only Vultures left. I saw these guys a little bit at Monty's a few weeks ago. They're going to be part of Riverfest. Matt, put your hand up, wave. Introduce your fellows here.
Hey, this is Tommy Worthen, Fred Martell, and Deacon Day.
Awesome.
I'm Matt Smith.
Matt Smith. So nice to meet you, fellas. I've seen you a couple times. So I guess, Matt, I'll start with you. You guys have been playing a little bit. I mean, I've been seeing your name come up quite a bit. I've been hearing some good things. Just talk about the band quickly.
We've been together for, I don't know, what, 7 years? So almost 10, really. We all knew each other in college, besides Deacon. And, years ago, we all got back together. But now we've been playing a lot more, we play better shows, and yeah,
definitely moving up.
So talk about your scene a little bit, because I know years ago I was part of the Halifax original scene, and I use air quotes, and not to sound drib and drab, but the scene then and the scene now almost seems to be eerily similar, and that's many years later. In that the original bands always seem to, I don't want to say struggle, but have to work a little harder for dates and venues to play, and just talk about that a little bit and let our viewers know how that's going.
Like booking shows?
Yeah.
Less.
Well, I think
There is less stages.
there's less stages, and I don't know, like there is a scene coming back. I can see it coming. Like the '90s is making a comeback with the music. Like all the kids are into it. So we found that at our shows, like we appeal to an older audience. Like there's some old classic rock and there's some proggy stuff, but then some more aggressive side. So like the young people come, and we usually have a really diverse crowd, which is nice to see. Um, but I think just for a while, rock music wasn't really the thing. It was just DJs, and it's come back around, and we just all have to support each other, and that's what a lot of people have been doing lately. Like we all realize and trying to be the best band in the city, and we're gonna kill everybody. Like that's not how it works, right? Like we got to support each other. And
who doesn't want to go watch bands
right,
play
like
live? Whether
or
like
just organize our own shows and find our own venues. Like it
reach out to other bands, make connections, be friends, band together and get venues. Because venues, once they hear you got like two other acts with you, then they're usually like, oh, okay, that's a show that we can get patrons in with that. So become friends with bands, talk to other bands. Yeah, don't make it a competition.
You bring up a great point because I've been in the original scene, I've been in the cover scene, and a friend of mine, we were out at I don't know if it was the show you guys were doing, but it just seems like the cover bands fight amongst themselves. The original bands really work to kind of support each other. The only way you're going to really make it is somebody makes it and pulls other people along, and whoever that is, and more people have to understand that. It's a fair statement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, somebody's got to introduce us to bigger audiences, right? Like that's what I found about that battle, the Surge Battle of the Bands. The best thing about that is we played with bands
that was great.
We would have never played with. We had an audience that we would have never have, played in front of, and it was great. It was we all support each other. Like I was super happy for the Royal Volts when they beat us, and I went and supported them and Diamond City in the finals, and I just was really happy for everybody. And
they did great.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. So now we have Riverfest coming up, and you guys are part of a series that I've been doing at Riverfest here on Eastlink Community TV. And it was my first one last year. My takeaway, and Jason McCorson, who's one of the people that runs Riverfest, is my producer, and he makes me look good and smart and sharp and all that stuff on Barstools. But my takeaway from that festival last year was there was really something for everyone. If you wanted karaoke, there was karaoke. If you wanted heavy, there was heavy. If you wanted folk, there was folk. If you wanted cover, something for everyone. You guys, is that the vibe? I mean, so is this your first one? Have you done the festival before?
No, this is our first one.
I've done it. I think 3 or 4 years with Dogs of Sutton. I play with them as well. But yeah, this is our first year of Vultures. We've applied every year for 5-6 years, but this is the first year we're on. So
awesome. And Dogs of Sutton, of course, that's my buddy Mitch, who I met last year for the first time.
Yeah.
Were you playing with those guys last year?
Since the beginning.
Okay, you know what? And you guys and Shadow of Everest were the two bands that I was like, whoa, how have I missed these guys doing this podcast? At that point, 2 years. And I'm going, okay, how dumb am I that I haven't clued into what's going on here? So great job. What do you guys expect to get out of Riverfest when you go down there? Because I mean, obviously, you've done it before. So what do you expect to when you go down there?
To have fun.
play
a music for a bunch of people.
We're the last band of the weekend, so as long as we can keep people there until we go on, we plan to take them right till then. So
one of the things that I found about Riverfest, and it was a community vibe. Like I played on Friday, but I stayed the whole weekend, and again, it was just so cool to mingle with people that I've known but not really known, never met face to face. It was like kind of a very good opportunity to do that and network and set some things up. So when you say you're playing that you're the last band, so what can people expect to see when you guys get out there and bang her out?
Loud, heavy
grooves. I just want to take them on a trip. Like we have a catalog of different songs. Like we have super heavy songs, and we have really light songs and more dancey and poppy. So a little variation of that. Like, we know that we're playing in front of a wide crowd, so we're not going to just pick our heaviest set or our most safe, friendly set. Like, throw a little bit in for everybody, right? But
Just hopefully provide a good time.
So here's what I'm loving, the guys that are bookending there, they're sitting there, they're waiting for their spot. So my right, which if you can see this, yeah, there you go, Keegan. So have you played Riverfest before?
No, I never have. No.
So why don't you tell me what you're looking to get out of this? Because like I say, I was a Riverfest virgin, I guess, if you will, and I had such a great time last year. Just it exceeded expectations. What are you looking to see?
I've actually never even attended, but I have lots of friends that have played before, and I always heard good things. So I'm just looking forward to going down and seeing what the grounds are like, what the actual the staff is like, and because I love working events, I usually go to a lot of festivals throughout the year, and yeah, it's nice to go to bigger events instead of always at the smaller pubs around town.
And all the way over to my left, I'll ask you the same question.
Same thing. This is my first. I've never attended or played.
Mhm.
And
Same
every festival has a bit of a different vibe, and it's going to be a great new experience. That's pretty well it. Yeah, in a nutshell, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be a
Just
homer
the
because, like
new
I say,
experience. Sorry.
absolutely, and I don't want to be a homer because, like I say, Jason produces this very show, but they do a very good job. I was super impressed. You won't be disappointed, fellas. You won't be disappointed.
it's a great
So,
stage, and it's
we've-
run really well.
We've applied a few times, and just
Never
you know,
worked out.
It never worked out. So it means more now. That
Oh,
we get to actually
I'm
do it.
excited to play. Yeah,
Mhm.
I've been wanting to do this for 3 years.
Yeah.
This is my first time playing. I've never attended. I wanted to play it for 3 years though. We were in last year. I got an email like last minute saying, "Hey, a band can't make it. Can Vultures come and play?" But we already had another festival booked the same weekend, so we didn't want to back out of that and go against our word saying we were going to play that.
I still had to go to both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to
Well,
play with Dog Son. I was like, go on.
and where was the other festival? Was it far away?
That was Merciless Metal
Festival,
Fest. It's
yeah.
behind the Stanley Airport
Okay.
out there, and it was just in the middle of the woods. We drove
Yeah.
down a dirt road for 40 minutes, and we're like, "Where are we going?" And then it's just like, "Oh, and it was actually really well organized for
Yeah,
just
it was great. Yeah.
somebody had a piece of property in the middle of nowhere, and they had generators, and it was great. That's a good festival. Like for it's for like it's a heavier
Oh yes.
more death metal,
That's
thrash
awesome.
metal like thing, but it was fun.
And here's the thing, I'm not in the advice business, but the one piece of advice that you would know that I'd give other bands that are on there is your set time is 40 minutes. And if you take too long setting up, that cuts into your set time. They run a tight ship, but it's very respectful to all the acts, right? Because if you know your set time's at 7 o'clock, you're going on at 7 o'clock, regardless of what happens, right? So that's important.
Yeah.
Fair.
No, it's well done.
So final question, folks. Final question. As you guys are gearing up for Riverfest, and I'll look forward to meet you down there because I will be there, I would say all weekend.
Nice.
Where are the viewers on Eastlink TV and Rimshots with Sean going to find out more about your band?
On Facebook, you can go to it's Only Vultures Left on Facebook, and that will take you to Spotify and our Instagram and everything like that. You just go there and you find everything.
Well, and I will say, gentlemen,
all platforms.
I've been hearing great things about you guys, so keep up the good work. I know sometimes it feels like nobody's listening and nobody's supporting maybe and nobody's doing anything, but the word is out, so just keep grinding away. Good things will happen.
Well, thank you for
Sick,
doing
man.
what you do, because it's a big
Yeah.
help to everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. We'll
Yeah,
be
sick,
back
man.
after this.
Have a good one.
Awesome, man.
Welcome back to Rimshots with Sean here on Eastlink TV. And if you like what you're seeing, subscribe on our YouTube page. I have my buddy Johnathan from a band that I actually got introduced to last year at Riverfest, Shadow of Everest. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. How you doing, Sean?
I'm doing great. So this will be your number what for you guys at this festival?
Oh man, 5 or 6. I think this is 6.
So you guys are veterans. So so for the people that haven't gone before, what can they expect to see?
it's diversity, right? It's diversity in music and diversity in the crowd. It's always so much fun, because everybody's there for just that one purpose, and it's to take in all the acts. So it's just a great place to get, your whistle wet with all this different type of indie music. It's great.
So I was there. I played on the Friday night. The Saturday, I'm just kind of bumming around. I had a couple friends that were there. We were hanging out, and a friend of mine said, "Oh man, Shadow of Everest on. You got to see them." And I'd never seen you guys before, so I went down, and there was a lot of people that knew you guys, obviously. So I'm like, "What the hell's wrong with me here? I've been missing out." You guys did a really nice. It was everybody gets like your half-hour show,
Yeah.
but you guys just went for it, man. It was from stem to stern. It's an action packed show. They're gonna obviously people are gonna expect to see the same thing out of you guys again this year.
Absolutely. We take it very seriously. It's, we love to do it. We're passionate about it, but it's only fun if you take it seriously. And like you say, from bow to stern, our songs tend to be on the longer side of things. So 30 minutes for us, there's no messing around, man. We've got to, as soon as they say your name, that's when the song starts, and we don't let up.
So, and I mean, I'm slightly a homer because my producer Jason McCorson is part of the Riverfest gang. However, and Jason played with us last year because our bass player was away.
Yeah.
One of the things that he said to me was, you get X amount of setup time, and if you're not ready, that creeps into your set. And one of the things that I was very impressed with was how efficient everything was, how well the musicians responded. Everybody really just kind of wanted to help each other out, and it was a very well run stage, very well run event.
And it is every year, man. Everybody's, like I said, they're there for one purpose. Nobody steps on anybody's toes, and we all know, right? Everybody knows that your setup time cuts into your set. So, yeah, there's a lot of us who are just, if I see somebody coming, the band before me, if they're coming off with their amp, yeah, I'll help them take their stuff. I've even hung out backstage before and just done that. I've handed guys guitars, I've grabbed things off stage, just it's just that it's so supportive, such a supportive atmosphere.
Absolutely. And here on Eastlink TV with my good buddy Johnathan Vriend, who it's funny, you and I, outside of the 20 minutes I talked to you at Riverfest, I mean, we've spent more time on Zoom calls and things like
It's
that.
true.
And it's funny how technology really helps you along. So I guess one of the things that I'll ask you is, and I touch on this all the time, in your scene, and by that I mean the original scene, that the scene where you guys you're doing your own material. The support amongst bands seems to be something I'm not used to. I mean, back when I used to do it, there was a real kind of a competitive nature where the original scene was still cutthroat. You guys seem to be a lot more collaborative, a lot more helpful. Is that by design? Is that just kind of something that happens?
I don't know. I like to work with bands who are going to work. So, yeah, if you're mutually supportive, then I'll find myself sharing a bill with those guys again in the future. And I think like you said, maybe it does just happen because I'm drawn to work with folks who are going to be, mutually supportive, willing to collaborate, don't have any issues sharing gear or, juggling a set around, frankly, sticking around for the whole show,
Sure.
Everybody wants to have someone to play for. So it's a real big bummer when, you're on last and then even the two bands that played before you empty out and you're just playing for, the two bar staff who are just kind of waiting to close things up.
Yeah.
And I know how that makes me feel. So I try not to ditch on anybody, stay to the last minute, and the other guys, Adam, Sean, Mike, we all pretty much behave the same way, it's the only way to survive.
You know what? I'm down with that. I mean, I guess annoyed is the nicest way I can put it when, somebody's doing something like that and they show up 10 minutes before they're set and they leave immediately after. And, you got to support, right? Because to your point, you want somebody to support you, therefore you have to support them.
Yeah. And I think that's that's the basis. That's the, very, very foundation of it, but the other side too is like, these guys are all friends of mine. I consider all these guys that I wind up sharing a bill with, you get, rubbing elbows before or after you play. You have the same taste in guitars, or like just wind up finding a guy use the same amp or same sticks or something like that,
Sure.
cymbal or a drum set you really love, and you just kind of you buddy up.
And it's not your swag right now, but look, there's swag, and I represent, and I get swag. So, I'm gonna throw something out there, non-Riverfest related, and I'm gonna act
Sure.
on the assumption that this gets posted after this super show that I've certainly been plugging. You bill it as, if you don't see, if you see one show all year, A Shadow of Everest, this is the one to go see. I don't want you to let any sort of, Colonel's 11 Herbs and Spices, but what's the basic background for the show? Because it's already taken place by the time this happens.
Sure.
What was your idea for the show, and what did you want to achieve?
So we had unfortunately had a lineup change when we launched our album last year, the last record we put out, and so we couldn't have your standard release show to support or celebrate the album. So what I decided we would do is just have an anniversary event. So 1 year of the album being out, and just kind of do the same thing that I would for a CD release or an album release, but just call it an anniversary. So I pull out some extras. We've got circus performers. We've got of course Vormir and Chosen Lung supporting us on the stage, and it's just about a little bit more spectacle than just your average bar show. A little bit more to it than just show up, play, have a good night. So people can expect, just something a little weird, something a little more, something with just a little bit of extra effort put behind it.
And I'm down because, I've been saying for a while, you got to give people more bang for their buck, right? To just go up there and stand in one spot and tap your foot's not going to cut it in this day and age. Look, I want to thank you for doing this quickly because I've got about 15 seconds. I always like to remind people, where do my folks find Shadow of Everest?
Everywhere on the internet, but our hub is www.shadowofeverest.ca. You can get to everything from there.
Thank you, Johnathan. And you know what? We're going to be back on Eastlink TV after this.
Sounds good, man. Cheers.